speakers going up there that they won't use.
Well, that's right, me either. Hate this time of year. Every word that you like. I got one. Yes, I did. You got one?
Actually, I'm off doing that Excel. Exactly. I was walking around town over here. There's technically two points.
Actually, I'm positive. You're approved. Yep.
Ring. If you're going to talk about the extractor, just know that the installation's expensive. They have to mount it. They have to pull a concrete pad and mount it.
That'll work against us, so I won't mention it. Yeah. But the bottom line is, these son of a bitches have $600,000 to $700,000. They roll over every year. They didn't before they spent tens of thousands of dollars on worthless attorneys. So, but when you look at it, figure the cost of the pad compared to one of their attorneys. One of them's to do good, one of them's to do bad. Why do they have to pull a tab? Put it tab? Because it's so not that heavy. It's not that big.
It spins, and it will literally fly welded.
I guess they have to bolt it down.
Yeah, so when you have to pour a concrete pad for it, it has to be poured into a concrete pad.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we'll send one out to you guys.
I think it's not the budget of it. This thing here costs $4,039 compared to what they waste. And one's to keep people safe, one's just to have to.
All we have right now is
Unbelievable.
so when you
That's
pick
good
it
to know.
up, you want to
I won't bring it up.
Did you see the video when I
Even still with that, that's $1,000.
Someone posted, where was that posted at? The flood video? Was that in Madison Township? You reposted it? Yes.
It's on somebody's page.
Were you up around New Haven? Because I could see you in the video. Yeah, someone's videotaping it. I was like, I know who that is. And, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think it came through mine to see how it was.
Yeah. I've been on the fire department for 3 months. I'll remember that forever because it's like, gosh, it's not what I signed up for, you know? And we had a house fire and they put a portable pump in the boat and was suctioning water out of the flood. It was Doug's front end loader. Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was in a boat. No. But they were fighting fire from a portable pump just hooked to a piece of hose.
Yeah.
That was me, yeah. So I went to my house and like, yeah. But I can remember thinking, oh my God, disaster. This is, you know, I think I've been through basic fire school and that was it. It's like, what do we do? I mean, it really wasn't nothing you could do. The whole area was flooded. But yeah, so she'll be at the fire station. She'll get you letters. She's there till 4:30.
8 to 4:30.
And then, yep. What is it again? FOP car show?
They have to go back out. So they repaired it. She's worked with King for a year. She's got 76. West, right on the west.
I can barely get my hands. And when I have to go from the basement to the second floor, it's bad.
Yeah, take a little rest.
I'm like, nothing else to do.
Are you gonna switch seats now? Okay, now we'll have a report from the administrator.
First thing we're talking about on the fire, engine 108, the brakes are basically out of it. I'm still waiting on a quote, so we can get it tonight. Basically, engine 108, the brakes are out of it. Waiting on a quote. I haven't received it yet tonight. One thing at the opening of the road bid next Tuesday or even before that, we may have to, if it depends on the cost of it, we may have to have a quick meeting to approve it. The rescue, I think it's called the deck gun. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It was sent out to be repaired.
Mhm.
So, but you're able to use the rescue.
Yep, everything else is good on it.
Good.
Checked out by Finley. Yep, pump and everything was checked and it's good.
What happened to the deck gun?
They had an accident after a training backing in.
They were backing in, the deck gun was extended up, and we only have like 4 inches of clearance. So if it's not all the way seated, yep, so it hit the top of the building.
That's, the other thing is Keytel came out and they looked at putting a 911 emergency phone on the outside where if somebody's not there, you can hit a button and it automatically goes. I'd like to have a permission to spend $1,200 to have Keytel install that. Talk about putting it right by that second door where you're going into your meeting room.
Oh, okay.
Discussion about that? Anybody came
It's a phone that you just push one button.
inside?
Right, you hit it and it goes straight to 911.
That's what she said. That's what he said.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and purchase that and have it installed.
Second it.
Give me a second.
I understand, because I was there and I don't know what names.
Rick, and your motion is for $1,200, up to
Yes,
$1,200?
and have it installed. Yep. Will 1,200 cover all of it?
Yes.
Should.
Is there gonna be a doorbell installed?
We can do that too.
I'm just curious, because general public that aren't having an emergency doesn't necessarily need to tie up the 911 center.
Well, what it is, if nobody's there, but I know he's worked on doorbells, trying to get
Yep.
one that'll work in there.
So did you get a doorbell that will work, or?
We're going to have to go the wired. I think it's the metal siding on the building is keeping the wireless from getting in.
Okay.
So-
I can ask Keytel
Just
about
need a
putting one
different
in there,
type then?
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to go with wired.
a hard wire.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Was there a second?
I second.
That was a legitimate question.
All in favor? Yes.
They could probably do all that at
Yes.
once, easy.
Yes. No discussion.
That's all I have on that. Also, I had Fox Law Company come out and he's supposed to give us some quotes on putting some good commercial locks on there. That's all I have on the fire. Road department, Doug's been working on Bowling Road. I stopped by there, Doug, and we talked about that. And then we got a call on the roadside drainage needs on 10 Terry Drive from Miss Green. And then Brian Wolford, we met with Brian about putting pipe in his ditch. And Brian agreed to buy the pipe and to supply the dirt for what it is. Is that right, Brian? So, if it ever quits raining.
Doug, the first house on Evanwood, on the right, they wanted their ditch cleaned up too, and they said that you've done that in the past for the previous owners. Yeah.
You get in trouble for mowing the cattails.
It'd be this, yeah.
Ornamental grasses.
Yes.
What road is that?
Evanwood.
First grade, west.
Okay. Then on Summit Street Road, the bid package was finalized. Summit Street Road project was advertised June 25th and the 28th, 2015. Through the Advocate, received a OPWC grant agreement. The bid opening is going to be July 14th at 9 a.m. And the bid hopefully be awarded by or on July 21st, 2015. The project completion date, according to the bid specs, September 30th, 2015. We've had 2 companies so far ask for bid specs.
And here's a copy of the grant agreements. Just read review.
Mark, can I ask a quick question about Summit Street?
Yes, I mean, you're the,
Can it be shut down partway? I almost lost control yesterday going over.
The engineer and the law enforcement has looked at that, and because of the line, the sight line of distance there, they said they'd rather not close it. If they close it, they're gonna close the whole thing.
Okay, then there should be better signage up. Because you don't know it on both ways.
If you're not familiar with it.
No, you just don't know. You're coming towards Smithfield, there's no signage. But it's halfway over on that side.
But it has continued to slip.
Oh, yeah.
Every time it rains a lot, it slips more. See if we can find some more signs.
got that, Doug? Look for some signs.
County doesn't have it.
What kind of signs do we need?
Well, for one, sinkhole.
Hang
You
on.
have one for a sinkhole? That's what it is.
Okay.
Hey Doug,
Turbo.
in the minutes from the last
The
thing, it said you were
George
gonna get a list of trees that you were
Like
gonna
it.
cut. Did you add to Marjorie, add on that list to the ones up on Marjorie? that are gonna-
Thinking about it.
Have you looked at those up there? The ones where it fell on that Saturday, and then there's like 3 more getting ready to.
today. I
They're like,
46% battery.
I would say we
Plugged in
do,
for 15 minutes.
because it's right up against the road, across the street from the Ames.
And the battery lasts good. Well, you work pretty hard during the day.
Whatever, entertain chip seal discussion and.
We can discuss it right now. We talked about chip sealing Montgomery Road, Bowling Road. What was the 2 other little roads? There's about almost 4 miles.
Montgomery.
Butler.
Bowling.
Butler.
Montgomery, Bowling, what? Okay. Someone tell me the real roads that we're thinking about chip sealing.
Stewart, Wyant, Summit, Montgomery, and Butler.
Not Bowling.
couple.
And the reason why
The money you had coming
on
in.
the nicer asphalt roads, they need sealed,
This is what you're.
because if we don't chip seal, we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I'm
Plus you have
getting
rollover.
questions, I just want
Mhm.
to know.
Approximately. Well, the last 3 years has been about 150,000.
You know, it's
They
bad,
provide
it's
their-
just, lots of cracks across.
This is 13.
The
This is
Zoning.
12. Beginning of
I
13.
talked to Don
Would be
yesterday
conservative
morning,
estimate.
and he's just presented 2 permits.
Over
there for
100,000.
outbuildings.
We were talking about the roads, and I do live on Butler Road. Sitting down like if people are coming from heading east, coming down off of Dayton Road, coming down, oftentimes, particularly if they're in trucks, they're in the middle of the road. Is there a reason why we don't have a stripe in the middle of the road?
Because of the width of the pavement wasn't
It's-
wide enough to
it's not
support that
enough.
at the time.
Because boy, they come flying down through there.
But did you notice that the speed limit signs are up on the west side of Butler Road?
No,
West
I
side
didn't.
of, yeah, the speed study that was done last year, the county engineer posted that at 45, which still seems, probably pretty fast, but it
No, I
did
did
get
not.
lowered by 10 degrees, or 10 miles per hour.
Anything else, ma'am?
No, that was just it. I mean, it's just,
Sure.
they just come flying down the middle.
I've
Yeah,
seen
you
it.
see it, Jody? Sometimes you think you're gonna get nailed.
Oh, I have.
After a couple calls to Waste Management, they did empty the dumpster at the township this afternoon, late this afternoon.
My gosh.
'Cause it hadn't been emptied, what, for
About 3 weeks.
3 or
Since Martin Yard sales,
yeah.
Yeah,
they crediting us?
we get it free anyway.
Okay.
But they've been called about 6 times. I talked to the route manager on July the 2nd, and were assured that it would be done. And so then I called back yesterday and today.
They're not doing very,
Coincidentally, it probably just got emptied today. But I did drive down before I came to the meeting, so
Okay.
it was empty, so unless somebody stole our trash.
House is marked with X's.
Have you put the X's up yet? Not yet?
New business?
I just went over all my business.
No, no.
Comments from citizens. We received requests from Melissa Decker, Nick Garver, and Greg McDonald to be on the agenda.
Ready? Okay. How are you guys recording minutes tonight? How are you doing that with Nancy not here?
I'm taking.
You're taking notes?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Did you guys cut a check for Steve Little tonight?
No, not that I know.
There was no check
There's
signed.
no-
No.
We didn't
No.
cut a check, but
Okay.
there's,
What's the status of the investigation?
It's, you have to contact prosecutor's office. I
This
don't
is
know.
June 7th, supposed to be done by June 30th, I mean July 7th, supposed to be done by June 30th.
right, and when it was extended, it was handled through the prosecutor's office.
But we're still paying for it, right? Township's still paying all that?
We're not paying anything, haven't received any invoices.
Okay. Any status on replacement of gear?
No.
How long we gonna table that? Because I don't have gear, and you're putting my life at risk. My children would appreciate it if I come home.
they extended his contract.
Anybody have an answer?
I don't, we're.
Mark?
No, I don't.
Okay. Just a couple comments. To date, well, I should say to May 5th, the township's paid out a total of $13,997.50 to Steve Little, and we have nothing. As of right now, we have nothing. We've also hired a labor attorney, paid out $6,094.55. Nobody can tell us why they hired the labor attorney, but we did. We paid out $240 in May to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. What was that for?
It's for the meetings.
Yeah, the meeting's.
To have policemen stand by here. Was there a need for that?
Yes, I felt there was.
You felt threat? That we need a police
I got the
officer?
same list.
Just felt there was a
Okay. And we paid $4,725.95 that I can document, that I have documentation of, to Mark Van Buren through June 15th to do, I'm assuming your guys' jobs, for a grand total of $25,058 of our taxpayers' money that could potentially be spent in more appropriate and better ways. Fire gear, public safety, brake line for our engine, replacing or repairing our medics.
Fire money isn't in.
This is comments. This is comments from citizens,
Thank
thanks.
you for your comments.
Okay, and also, I know in past, Nancy's had a little difficulty making sure our comments get into the minutes, so I made a copy for you. So I can make sure that that gets into the minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nick Garber?
I didn't ask him how he
I was going to ask also about the fire gear, but I guess that's been handled. Are we, I guess I'll make more of a comment than a question. I think we need to act on some of the applications that we have, especially if they're certified people. The reason being, there's a handful or two of really dedicated people that are kind of keeping things together right now. The morale in the department's pretty low. I think we know that. Probably resolve the investigation. But we definitely have vacancies. And traditionally, we have filled them. So I think that we should continue to do that. And we have typically a roster of about 50 people. And if you go by the NFPA standards, then you know every 10 years that gear's got to be replaced. Well, if you just divide that, if we buy 5 sets of gear a year, we would have a regular rotation that's going to meet that. And I kind of wonder why we don't do that.
Trustee.
Just it seems kind of simple to me. It's a known cost, you know. So it's a known expense anyway. It's a necessity, not really like a luxury item. I also think as a citizen and of course as a member of the fire department that because of the morale issue and also because of the changing of the times and stuff like that with surrounding departments going to having paid people on at nighttime, I think we should look at doing that. And I think there's some room in the budget traditionally. I don't know what the figures are right now for fire department funds or whatever, but I mean, $30,000 would get you pretty much a full-time guy, which I'm not saying we need a full-time guy, but that kind of gives you an idea how much you get for that amount of money.
How many, and Darren, you may jump in, how many do you think you would need and from what time?
Well, I mean, I think we could talk about it if the board would, you know, consider doing that, but my thought would be at a minimum do just boost our 8.5-hour shifts to maybe 12-hour shifts to kind of cover a little bit more when people are leaving Madison Township to go to Columbus to work, you know, before that 8 o'clock start time. And then also give a little bit of fluff room for people coming back from Columbus, you know, to get back into the township to respond to calls and that, because that's when we're having some difficulty, but we are having a little bit of difficulty at night too. you know, on some of the runs. So I guess I would like to just see what the budget is, you know, that is available, and then see how many hours that equates to, and then we could see what is the best time. But I think we kind of need to move in that direction. That's just my thought as a resident, you know, and of course as on the fire department, because I can see from both sides what's going on. You know, we just, and Hanover now has paid people. Of course, Newark does, and Marianne does as well. And I can't even speak for the fire company, but and obviously Heath has paid people. So we're pretty much surrounded by people that have realized that, you know, we need to supplement our volunteers. So that's all I'm asking. I think that, you know, we need a little bit of help, you know, with paid people. If for nothing else, just to reduce response time. If we can get a truck out the door right away and then have volunteers go to the scene, I think that will cut down on the response time dramatically. And of course, we all know minutes save lives and all that. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna use this because I actually have handouts. The, I guess, before I get on my subject, a question to Mark. Would you deny gear to the fire people at Madison Township?
We have a district, a fire district, so
Well,
it's not
would you
Harrison
deny,
Township.
okay, deny gear to the district fire department people? We have 28 personnel here and 6 of them don't have gear.
I think.
So
Greg,
if it's me, I'll finish the question. She's a registered nurse.
Mhm.
If there's a car wreck and there's somebody inside the car, she can't go inside the car and help them. She sits on the side and watches them because she doesn't have gear. It's not because we don't have money, because we all know, notwithstanding all the tens of thousands of dollars being spent on attorneys and everything else now, that we roll over $700,000 a year. She is going to sit there and watch someone bleed in a car because you guys don't think she needs gear, and the other 5 people that don't have gear. It's just crazy. It's too crazy to be talking about, but here we are. But to answer your question, or answer my question, would
You got a point.
Yeah, okay. The what I'd like to do is hand out something, because I noticed you guys had an article in the Advocate, and in the article you state that the reason why we don't have a washing machine, of course, is the fire department's fault. It's not the trustees. Because the, well, how did you word that, Karen? The fire department has submitted a purchase order for a washing machine. The specifics of what type and size were not provided.
It does, I said to her, the make and model were not provided to us.
So if they need they have to, so you wouldn't say to them the 20 times that you tabled this item. You would not say to your fire department, I would like to have a make and model, or did they refuse to give it to you? I mean, did you ask them for it and they actually refused to give it to you? I mean, it's ridiculous. Because number one here is you look at the budgets in front of you. The fire budget had about $100,000 rollover. They had money coming in, $363,000. They asked for to spend their own money. The money that was allocated to the fire department, $319,000. So $43,000 plus their $100,000 rollover that they have. And on this budget, they're asking for a $1,200 spindleless washer from Lowe's.
Greg, I will make a comment. The $1,200 washer isn't no worth.
You're making my comment.
You're
You're making my comment, exactly. Exactly. The fire department didn't think they could get more than a $1,200 spindleless washer from this trustee group. So they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel. You don't want to buy a $1,200 spindleless washer. You want to buy an extractor, which we'll get into in a second. But the bottom line is, this was you're mentioning here that there was no details given. And when you tabled this over 20 times, you're saying here, your exact wording was, we have not denied the purchase, Barger said.
I did say that we had not denied it.
You tabled it over 20 times. If that's not a denial, I don't know what is. When you take something and you table it and say, we're not going to deal with it, you're not saying no. You're just saying we're not going to deal with it now and now and now and now, while your firemen are in danger and you're rolling over $600,000 to $700,000, and they have their own money to spend for it. Now, that all being said, now you also mentioned in here that you researched this, and I apologize for my copy. I didn't notice this until I got here. This is not a washer. This is an extractor. And in your article, you state that you have $13,000. Karen, you did this research, I think it says. Yeah. Based on some research that Barger did, the Continental extractor holds 2 sets of turnout gear. It will cost $13,500. And I do apologize for this copy, but the website does work. The extractor, not the $1,200 washer, but an extractor that these guys need for the fire department costs $4,039. I'm not very sophisticated on a computer, and I don't know a whole lot about research, but I Googled it. And that's kind of the range where I came up with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. But somehow you Googled it for your story and made it $13,000.
Greg, can I ask, I'm sorry, the next one, right below that, the first one that you highlighted for $4,000?
Yes.
How many pounds was that?
Just for one set of gear. It just says one set of gear. The most expensive one here was down at the bottom, the 55-pounder that's $10,000. And again, I apologize for but it's,
That's all right.
the Google's on top. But the point is, we have to stop lying about this stuff. And I'm sorry, I know it's uncouth for me to be talking this way, but I don't know what to do. I mean, you guys have quit talking because every time you say something, we come back and say that wasn't true. And here you're quoting in a newspaper things that are absolutely not true, and you know it. Everyone in here knows it. I don't know what do you do about that? We have to stop. I mean, you're supposed to be our neighbors.
I don't have the email that I retrieved from the manufacturer,
Karen,
of which Chad Deal had.
I could probably find someone who'll sell me one for $50,000.
Okay.
But when you're researching something, you don't look for the most expensive.
I didn't. I researched what the department had looked into in the past.
Well, I'm looking
the
at.
specifics.
Yeah, you didn't know what they looked into. You didn't have them on them. But the bottom line is the department was begging for a $1,200. You tabled what Mark says is a lousy washer. You tabled that and said go without. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at a trend because you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on attorneys and pretend detectives and to attack the people in this township. When we don't need detectives and we don't need lawyers. We need somebody who will buy a generator so that when the fire department, when the lights go out, they can turn the lights on. We need somebody who will buy a washing machine so these guys aren't walking around with carcinogens in their car. We don't need excuses to go drive over to Newark and beg those guys for their soap and their washer to build a relationship with them. As my wife said when I was talking about it, she says, you can go to a neighbor and say, can I borrow a cup of sugar? I'm baking a cake. But you can't go to your neighbor and say, hey, will you supply my family with sugar the rest of our lives? It doesn't work that way. And it would be different if we didn't have money. But we have all this money to pay for people that are attacking our own people. Our trustees have turned against us or attacking our own people, spending our money to attack us when we need things. And you guys just don't give a crap. So it's obvious. We may not get our washer, and we may not get our generator, and we may not get a new ambulance, and we may not get a new firehouse. But we'll get new trustees.
Any correspondence?
Yep.
Is that the end of the meeting? I was going to say, everybody leave it now because you're done.
from Mike DeWine, maybe we can get a little money back from the road salt court case.
Yeah, we did salt purchases during that time, so we would be eligible for the refunds.
Next, I have the information about the winter salt contract. I think Licking County for the winter is at $73 a ton. Put that over, I think that's where I was thinking right now. That is 76.04. And this is notification of the project approval for the Summer Street Road. So it's about the same. That tells us we have it. That is all the correspondence.
Correspondence from the prosecuting attorney. Keeps things up.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Oh, would you like to go ahead and tell everybody?
Yeah. We're having a car show for the Fraternal Order of Police. It's the Jim Landis Memorial Car Show. I know a lot of people know Jim. So we're having it down at the FOP Lodge on South 6th Street. Hopefully everybody can come.
What is it?
It's the FOP's car show.
When?